This is what is inside of that box. Now, what we have here is the telephone line is the black wire that you see entering the picture on the lower right-hand side. It comes up from the lower right. It makes a 90-degree angle. It comes across the picture underneath the orange can wrench, and then it comes up through the base of the box on the left side, and then the wires come out of it to connect to the left and the right post. Then, if you look up a little further, you'll see that there's another set of blocks, and then in the center of the block, you'll see there's a long copper strap with a heavy gauge, a copper wire attached to it, and there's only one wire attached to it. So that's the grounding block. So in this particular case, the line protection is built into these splice blocks. The telephone line comes in, then the telephone line goes out. You'll notice the black cable comes in, it's split to the left and split to the right, and then there's cables that are above it. So this is a 2-line box. Then you'll notice that it crosses over to the lower right-hand side of the block. So what normally the phone company sees is when they open the box, this is what they see. When a customer, which they have to use the can wrench, which is that wrench you see in the photograph, that's a can wrench that you use to make these, so you don't have to use really any tools other than a little pair of pliers and a can tool to get in, hook stuff up and break stuff and move stuff around. And so this is what the telephone company technician sees. Lots of rooms for lots of electronics. You're also going to notice there's something wrong in this picture. And if you're a bug sweep guy, the hair on the back of your neck stood up when you looked at this photograph. So, when the customer opens the box, the telephone company's side is locked out. Not really locked out, but you have to use a special can tool to open it. In this particular case, there's no cover on it. You'll notice the hinge points on the top do not have a cover on them. So the cover had actually been removed a long, long time ago, which left all the copper exposed, which just made the spy's job a lot easier. So if we look at the lower right-hand side of the box, we see 2 wires connected with a bail latch, and we see a variety of wires attached. So the way that this works is those wires go out to phones in the building. In this particular case, there's 8 wires or 4 telephone lines in the building. Now, those little bail latch connectors have a modular connector on the end, and those modular connectors go to the splice blocks. So you have to look at this and go, something, if you're a bug sweep guy, like you went to Lorette Schoolhouse or something like that, you're looking at this and you're getting a little cranky. You want to get your TDR out and start collecting DNA and looking for latent prints and where's the video cameras at? And you're getting all excited and you're starting to jump up and down like a chihuahua on meth. And I'm not kidding. Somebody in our profession looks at this and they start getting all excited because, oh boy. Now, there was in fact a spy here. A spy did his dirty deeds here. We were brought in. We found it. We traced the spy, we traced the eavesdropping device, and blackmail that was taking place got reversed. And the last person to touch this block was actually a private investigator. And she installed the extra wiring, didn't quite know what she was doing, and she ended up screwing up the telephone line. And after several hours of mucking around with it, she just hooked up a tape recorder, and that's what the nasty wiring looks like. Keen thing, people who work, telephone tradesmen, which means people who work in a telephone trade, are meticulously neat. They all route their cables a certain way. They all make their terminations a certain way. Neat, neat, neat. it's much like a surgeon. They all wash their, most of them wash their hands, not all of them. It's sort of like trying to find a nurse who will, empty a bedpan. They're not the people doing it. They have the nurse's aides do that. So private investigators are very often not technically savvy, not technically trained. If they were technically savvy and they were technically trained, they would be working for the phone company and not following people around trying to do, tracking down extramarital relationships and videotaping people taking bribes and blackmail and stuff like that. So please, if you're a PI, I love you guys, but please don't try to do a bug sweep. Please bring in somebody who that's what they do. Like if you can bring us in, or you can select 2 or 3 other companies in the country, because there's only 2 or 3 companies in a country that you really should be doing business with. You should be doing business with us, but that's okay if you don't. I'll happy to give you the names of some competitors who they'll do an honest job, but I can't say they'll do a better job. So, what's wrong with this picture?